solid defense, but for having some amazing jammers that can put up some big numbers. Skating under the new rule set may change up the size of the score, but you're still talking about two formidable opponents. Looks like we're taken to the track right now, waiting for things to be ready to go with the officials. But starting with the stars on their helmet, you have Olivia Shootin' for the Hotrod Honeys and number 77 Cinderfold for the Hail Marys. Looks like some final checks from our officials here.
So the penalties do carry over from the first period. That's why we're going to start this jam with a 4-3 pack advantage for the Hail Marys. Masochist starts this jam in the penalty box. Again, the big change in the new rule set that we're playing under now, only 30-second penalties as opposed to the minute-long penalties you've been used to after years of watching Derby. So it's led to some exciting action here in the first period. A lot of hard hitting with extra bodies out on the floor for longer periods of time. We think that the shorter penalties may lead to some interesting strategy as you got to watch fouling out of games, trying not to get that 7th penalty box minute or penalty box trip. Much easier to do now with the shorter penalties.
That's right. 7 trips to the penalty box means that a skater has to leave the game. That happens a lot more quickly at 30-second penalties, but these are some highly trained athletes, and they're going to stay out of the penalty box and on the track.
Shout out to DJ Ed Zeppelin, rocking the trio. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, have you had a good time so far tonight? If so, let's hear it for your Texas Roller Girls. And the beloved Vuvuzelas are in full force.
Again, we have Cinderfold jamming on the track against Olivia Shootin'. And first through is Olivia Shootin'. She is your lead jammer. Both teams reconvene. And OJ throws her hips forward to grab all those points. So that's going to be 4 points for the Hotrod Honeys, 0 for the Hail Marys, bringing us to 107 Hotrod Honeys, 84 for the Hail Marys.
That's right, the Hail Marys do have some voracious scorers, though. Eastward did some great work in her first bout. Smarty Pants has been doing this for a long time and is a great scorer. There's a couple others on the bench that I'm excited to watch as well. So 23 points is nothing to sneeze at. Toss the Boss on the line against Smarty Pants.
Absolutely. Some hard pushes from Smarty Pants there, and Morris Cortez taking a big hit and toss the Boss to the inside. Smarty makes her way around up front. She's reversed. She is the champion. Boss has 1 to beat, and she does. She's through, but she's got a half a track to catch up. Smarty pushes her way through. She takes a big hit, and Dolcevita scores 3 points as we end that jam.
You'll notice Smarty Pants went down in a heap there at turn 3, but she got the point when she initially passed the skater, so that's why she got 3 points on that jam. Peace War on the line, jamming against Bloody Mary, who's had a great bout so far.
Points are scored when hips pass hips in roller derby.
It is all about the hips.
And we're underway. Both jammers try the inside and then take alternate routes. Bloody Mary makes her way up inside and squeezes through on the inside. Bloody Mary's your lead jammer.
Doing the penalty boxes, Olivia John for the Hotrod. So a 4-3 pack advantage as Eastward tries to cut into this lead.
Ooh, comes through on the inside, just about sneaks by, but is met by Olympia. He pulls her back into the pack. Bloody Mary, meanwhile, sneaks through, grabbing her points. Olympia is called out. She'll serve 30 seconds in the box.
Duncan Dominion with a bit of a equipment failure there. She's rejoined.
We're going to have 2 points for the Hotrod Honeys, 0 on that pass for the Hail Marys, which brings us to 113 to 91.
We'd like to remind you, not only are you here watching some of the best derby in the world, you can interact with some of the best derby in the world. If you're on Twitter, tweet yourself with the hashtag TXRG. We'll get some of those up on the big screen. Also, follow us on Instagram. Just search for Texas Roller Girls on Instagram. Stone her on the line against Smarty Pants.
Smarty Pants goes around on the outside. She makes it around Master. She's through as your lead jammer, Smarty Pants. Smarty comes in on her scoring pass, as does Stoner. But Stoner gets through first. She scores 4 points. But Smarty edges her way around, also scoring 4.
Hotrod Honeys for years have been known for their great team defense. No match on that pass, though. A Smarty Pan makes quick work of the 4-wall.
Smarty's held up in the back by Olivia John and Lucille Brawl. The Stoner gets through. She scores her 4 points. Smarty takes a look over and decides it's time to call that, so that will be the end of that. She scores 3 points on that pass, bringing our score to 121 Hotrod Honeys, 95 for the Hail Marys, with just under 26 minutes left to go in this game.
Well, we'd like to thank one of our proud sponsors, Yelp.com. If you're on Yelp, you should definitely check in right now and tell everyone in Austin and in the world what a great time you're having at the Texas Roller Girls. Check in for local things and look for TXRG Texas Roller Girls.
Haas the Boss jamming against Centerfold, and Haas is through just quicker than quick. She's your lead jammer. Meanwhile, Centerfold also breaks through with a half track to go. Solid hit by Notorious DIE causes Haas the Boss to call it off after only scoring 1 point.
Great team defense there by the Hail Marys, basically killing any opportunity to run up the score. Hotrod still up, but only 122-98, 24 points ahead with 24 and a half minutes left.
We have an empty penalty box as we have Babyface Assassin facing off against Bloody Mary. Both jammers held up by solid walls of blockers there as they try to eke their way past, just trying to throw shoulders in front.
And again, there's the vaunted team defense we were talking about as the Hotrod Honeys are just stonewalling Babyface Assassin.
Big hit by Brown Butter, followed up by Mad Hatcher on Bloody Mary. But she makes her way through, but she gets a track cut in the meantime.
And that's going to be a power jam for the Hail Marys, just what they need as they try and cut into it. Zen Japanese food sponsoring our power jam. Again, they're giving all of our VIP seats free stuff.
Penalty being assessed to Olivia John for direction and gameplay. Babyface Assassin is hit out of bounds, but she is hit out of place. So even though Action Jackson hit her out, she was still able to continue. She realizes that she is not lead jammer and goes for another pass. She's through. That's another 5 points. It's a grand slam.
A mere 19-point lead now by the Hotrods as Babyface tries to cut into it even further. Doing a nice job avoiding the block by number 56.
The seal brawl takes it to the outside. Babyface looks to the bench. Keeps on going. Bloody Mary firmly up front with a chew wall of brown butter and Smarty Pants.
La Dolce Vita living up to the name as she lays a beat down on Babyface, knocking her down at turn 1. We got Brown Butter going to the penalty box for the Hail Marys.
Bloody Mary makes it through. No score on that pass.
122 to 104. That's an 18-point lead. 22 minutes left as we enter jam number 29. A 4-3 pack advantage for the Hot Rods as Brown Butta starts this jam in the penalty box.
On the line, we have Stoner for the Hot Rod Honeys facing off against Peace War for the Hail Marys. Peace War is hit down hard by Masochist. Now has to contend with Olympia and Action Jackson, but she does. She's through. She is your lead jammer. Meanwhile, Stoner being held up in the back by some solid defensive work by Centerfold and Notorious DIE. Stoner does get through, but Peace War is on a scoring pass. She hops, skips, and jumps over the corner of the apex. She scores 4 points. Stoner is on her pass as well, as she scores 4 points on that pass. Peace War forced to the back of the pack again. Comes up to a stationary wall. She has to do an illegal Knievel and Action Jackson. She holds her footing and scores 4 more points. Stoner being hit to the outside by Brown Butter and Notorious DIE, and she's going to be forced all the way to the back of the pack again. Meanwhile, Peace War is through with another pass. That one's going to be a grand slam.
Peace War doing things on stage I couldn't do in shoes. Some fantastic skating by the Hail Marys hammer outfit. And the fan club Vuvuzelas are loving it there for the Hail Marys.
Both jammers being held up by full packs in there. Peace War up front just due to compete with, and she gets through, so that's going to be another 5 points for Peace War. Stoner gets out, scoring 4 on that pass.
Stoner pulling a little bit of a rope-a-dope move there, looking like she was slowing down and then bursting through the floor wall for 4 points.
Peace War takes a look, she decides to call it out, but not after scoring 3 more apiece on each side. So that brings us to an 8-point game. 133 for the Hot Rods, 125 for the Hail Marys.
We'd like to remind you the Hail Marys are sponsored by the Austin Beer Garden Brewing Company.
Looks like we are going to have a team timeout being called by the Hot Rod Honeys. Timeout, Hot Rod Honeys.
That's right, again, the Austin Beer Garden Brewing Company, they're the makers of Hell Yes, the official beer of the Hail Marys. You say Hail Marys, we say Hell Yeah.
So as we saw there, penalties aren't playing the big decisive factor here, but yet we're still seeing big runs by the jammers, still doing just exactly what it is that they do, which is just skate hard, take hits, throw hits, and continue down the track. So everyone that thought that these shorter penalties were going to result in fewer swings of the game, we're still seeing points being brought up really quickly.
That's right, it's basically the shorter penalties have really cut down on the 50, 60 point jams. So you've got shorter scoring periods, but that means more opportunities for a point swing. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Back and forth out here, still just an 8-point lead. Babyface Assassin jamming against Osaboss, and Babyface out quick lead jammer for the Hail Marys.
Osaboss is taking to the outside pass. Marty Manson has to recycle all the way to the back again. Meanwhile, Babyface Assassin's on a scoring pass, and score she does. 5 points, Babyface Assassin.
Cuts the lead to less than 1 jam, a 3-point lead for the Hot Rod Honeys.
Osaboss trying everything she's got in there, but she's being held up by B-Money and Notorious DIE from the Hail Marys. Bloody Mary putting some strong hits in there as Babyface is held down in the back. Haas almost makes it through, takes a big hit by Smarty Pants, regains her step, and is out of the pack. That was her initial pass.
That's right, that was some great team defense by the Hail Marys to completely slow down Hoss the Boss. And that allows Babyface to come through on another scoring pass, giving her 3 points. We have a tie game, ladies and gentlemen.
You really can't ask for a better bout. These are the two teams that won their first bout of the season, coming in undefeated. And a tie game in the second half.
We got 18 minutes and a half to go. We've got Peace War up on the line against Olivia Shooting John. Olivia Shooting John is up first. She is your lead jammer. But with the hop, skip, and a jump, Peace War gets out as well. Quicker than quick, Olivia Shooting John throws her hips forward, grabs those points. That's 4-point lead for the Hot Rod Honeys. On the line, we have Bloody Mary for the Hot Rod Honeys going up against Peace War. Change that out for Centerfold for the Hot Rod Honeys, for the Hail Marys.
You never know what to expect out there.
Blockers started that jam a little bit further off the jammer line. They can start anywhere between the jammer line and the pivot line on the track. On her way through the first, that's Centerfold. She's your lead jammer. Bloody Mary getting a little assistance there, but getting taken out by Smarty Pants out front. Meanwhile, Centerfold is coming back through again, this time on the scoring pass. She takes a big hit from Hoss the Boss, who knocks her out of bounds and is going to have to be recycled all the way back into that pack. Bloody Mary makes her way out, but she is going to be called for a back block. She's going to spend 30 seconds in the penalty box. That is going to make this a power jam for Centerfold.
This power jam was sponsored by Zen Japanese Fast Food.
That is going to be a 5-point grand slam for Centerfold. That is also a lead change. We have the Hail Marys up by 1.
Big hit by Hoss the Boss, knocks out Smarty Pants.
But hey, did you see that? That was a star pass. Centerfold handed off the jammer star to Smarty Pants. Smarty Pants is now your jammer for the Hail Marys. She picks up 5 points on that pass. But meanwhile, Bloody Mary has come back out to play. Smarty Pants comes through on her scoring pass. Bloody Mary being held up by Centerfold.
A perfectly executed star pass grabs them a huge point advantage or point swing here. Hail Mary's now up by 11.
Bloody Mary held up in the front, one to beat. She does. She's out, but that is a non-scoring pass. Smarty Pants tries to come back through on the inside. Jam expires. That is 3 more points for the Hail Marys, bringing us to 146 for the Hail Marys, 137 for the Hot Rod Honeys.
And it's that time again, ladies and gentlemen, time for some free stuff. If you want a t-shirt from one of our Wranglers, let's make some noise.
We've got Stoner on the line against Babyface Assassin. Both jammers are hit to the outside and quickly come back in. Stoner's up front. She is past. She is your lead jammer, Stoner. Babyface Assassin taking on a tough floor wall from the Hot Rod Honeys. But Stoner is in on the scoring pass, hit to the inside, and has to recycle to the back. She's through. She's going to pick up 4 points on that pass. Babyface contending with OJ. A nice offensive block by Notorious D.I.E. Virgo takes a hit at Stoner. Punkin Dominion and Olympia making things difficult in the back for babyface Assassin. Stoner picks up 5 points on that. That's a grand slam. Bringing this to a 5-point game. Stoner hit to the inside, but comes back on. Babyface Assassin taken down. Quickly hops up. And is knocked out of bounds again by Olivia Shootin' John. We're seeing another one. It's a star pass. You have a new jammer for the Hotrod Mounties. That is Olivia Shootin' John. Babyface Assassin stuck in the back. Looks for some offensive help by Notorious D.I.E. Olivia knocks her to the outside, but meanwhile Olivia Shootin' John is through. She grabs 5 points on a grand slam. That is going to bring us to a lead change. Hotrod Honey's in the lead now over the Hail Marys.
The Hotrod Honey's using a mix of speed, power, and craftiness there to score a ton of points, grabbing the lead 156 to 151. Speaking of speed and power, we'd like to tell you that AT&T U-verse is an official sponsor of the Texas Roller Girls. Also a blend of speed and power, bringing Austin's fastest internet service, AT&T U-verse with Gigapower.
We're going to have Hoss the Boss on the line up against Peace War for the Hail Marys. Hoss dances that inside line and stays in, but it's Peace War who is through first. She's your lead jammer. Hoss the Boss making her way up to the front, but has to contend yet still with Centerfold. She maintains her footing. She is out. Meanwhile, Peace War is on her scoring pass. Hit down by Masochist. Takes another hit by La Dolce Vita. Hoss punches her way through, and she's going to get back by again. She's hit by Mad Hatcher, but maintains her footing. She's going to grab 4 points on that pass.
Slaughtermelon trying to line up a big hit on Hoss the Boss at turn 2, misses it, and that brings Hoss for a quick scoring pass. Now re-engaging the back of the pack on another scoring pass.
Peace War still being held up by La Dolce Vita and Action Jackson, but she makes her way through. She's going to pick up 4 points on that pass. Hoss the Boss still in there, gets a nice offensive hit by Masochist, but has to contend with Smarty Pants. And I don't know if anyone saw her there. Peace War through. She picked up 4 points on that pass.
Splitting the hit from Action Jackson and slammed her D. Peace War, but crafty move.
5 more points, just a 1-point game.
Peace War still having to contend with Action Jackson and Masochist holding her down to a crawl. But Hoss the Boss still dealing with Centerfold and Smarty Pants. Take her to the outside, but she maintains her feet. Cuts to the inside. That is going to be a 4-point pass, 5-point pass for her. That's a grand slam.
A crazy end to that jam. We went the full 2 minutes. We went the full time with great action, and we have left with a 1-point game, ladies and gentlemen. They are taking a beating out there and giving as good as they get. And if you're taking a beating, you should check out Select Physical Therapy, proud sponsor of the Texas Roller Girls.
Smarty Pants is facing off against Olivia Shootin' John. Olivia Shootin' John hits Smarty Pants to the inside. Both have to come to the back of the hat. But Smarty Pants punches her way through. Smarty Pants is your lead jammer. Hot on her heels is Olivia Shootin' John. Smarty takes the outside line, but Olivia Shootin' John takes the inside line. She scores 4 points, but in the meantime, Smarty Pants picks up a track cut. This is going to be a power jam for Olivia Shootin' John. Olivia Schutenbaum goes to the inside just a bit to compete up front, but that's a solid wall that she's being held up by. She makes her way through. She's going to pick up 5 points on that. That's going to be a grand slam for Olivia Schutenbaum.
Olivia may have picked up a grand slam, but Dolores Fuertes made her pay for some huge hits on that last pass and giving her head again on that scoring pass.
That's going to be her second grand slam, but meanwhile that power jam has expired as Smarty Pants is back on the track. She gets through and she picks up 4 points on that pass. OJ is back through again. She takes on Dolores again, picking up 4 more points for the Hotrod Honeys. Smarty Pants has to get by Stoner, and she takes the outside out with a beautiful spin. Scoring 4 more, but to be answered very quickly by Olivia Schutenbaum with 4 more of her own. Smarty Pants just about jumps at apex, almost makes it 5, has to contend with 1, but it's one formidable opponent with Stoner holding her back. Olivia Schutenbaum doing a tractor push of her own. 4 more points for Smarty Pants.
I thought for sure Smarty Pants was going to go through untouched on that pass, but Stonehurst absolutely stopped that action. We've got a timeout, team timeout by the Hail Marys. It's been back and forth, still 24-point game, 8 minutes left. While we have a minute, we'd like to remind you, if you're having some fun here tonight, we'll be back here in just 4 weeks. Our next bout, April 19th, right back here at the Austin Convention Center. If you're having a great time, you can pick up discount tickets to our next bout over at the merch booth. Check out some awesome t-shirts to support your favorite team and pick up tickets to the bout on April 19th, only $12.
You can also check out our website, texasrollergirls.org, to learn more information about your favorite skaters, your favorite team, or how you too can get involved with this organization. That's texasrollergirls.org.
So again, a rare sight last year, much more common here tonight. All 10 skaters out on the track, and that's leading some hard-hitting action. Let's see what happens on this. We've got Bloody Mary out there for the Hot Rods against Centerpool for the Hail Marys.
As you said, it's a full complement of skaters out there, which makes it very difficult for the jammers to find a path to go through, but Bloody Mary does it. She's your first, she's your lead jammer, Bloody Mary. Centerpool is hit to the outside by none other than Olympia, and she's going to be recycled to the back of the pack. Meanwhile, Bloody Mary on her scoring pass gets by Virgo Vegetable. She's going to pick up 5 points on that pass. That's a grand slam. Centerfold is still contending with the likes of Stoner, Olympia, and Slander D up front. Bloody Mary gets around and by. That is going to be another grand slam pass for Bloody Mary. Centerfold is recycled to the back of the pack, but Bloody Mary takes it outside line. She has to get by Virgo Vegetable and Notorious DIE with a nice defensive hit, followed by Sandy Ravage.
Excellent teamwork by the Hail Marys. The old set them up and knock them down maneuver, but they are unable to knock down Bloody Mary as she's through for another grand slam.
Speaking of teamwork, the defensive walls by the Hot Rod Honeys are amazing. Looks like Centerfold is attempting to a star pass to Notorious DIE, but there's going to be a penalty assessed to the Hot Rod Honeys Stoner.
A direction of play penalty sends Stonehurst to the box.
But as she puts on the helmet cover, she is now going to be your jammer. That is Notorious DIE, but the jam expires. 4 more points for Bloody Mary, which brings our score to 215 for the Hot Rod Honeys, 176 for the Hail Marys, with under 6 minutes to go in this game.
That's right. Twitter user Huerta Party ad has already encapsulated my feelings. Could there be any more league changes? He says, The Hail Marys certainly hope so, as they've opened up a bit of a deficit now. Hot Rod Honey's on top, 215 to 176.
They have Babyface Assassin on the line against Olivia Shootin' John. Olivia Shootin' John is hit out of bounds by Notorious D.I.E. She'll have to recycle to the back. Babyface Assassin up front being held up by Pumpkin Dominion. She gets by. She is going to be your lead jammer, Babyface Assassin.
Dolores Fuertes with a nice hit to knock OJ to the inside. OJ still on her initial pass and being fed shoulders and booty blocks like there's no tomorrow. Nice teamwork by the Hail Marys.
Babyface Assassin comes out. She scores 5 points on that. That's a grand slam for the Hail Marys. Olivia Shootin' John is still being held up in front by a 3-wall of the Hail Marys. Babyface Assassin coming back up again, being held up by a 3-wall of her own.
And there's another star pass as Babyface Assassin gives it up to Smarty Pants.
Smarty Pants puts on the helmet cover. She is now your jammer for the Hail Marys. Olivia Shootin' John is contending up there with a solid 3-wall of the Hail Marys herself. Big push to the outside of the Hail Marys, but Olivia Shootin' John counters it, pushing through hard by herself, but Smarty Pants gets through. She's going to pick up 4 points on that pass for the Hail Marys.
Nice move by Smarty Pants to stay on her skates and grabbing some points. We're going to have Brown Bullock going to the penalty box for the Hail Marys. So one less person to help Smarty through the pack.
OJ gets through. She picks up 4 points on that pass. Smarty Pass contends with Action Jackson. Almost holds her feet, but not enough. Action Jackson able to hit her out of bounds. In conclusion, we're going to have 4 more points for the Hot Rods, 3 for the Hail Marys, which brings us to 223 for the Hot Rod Honeys, 188 for the Hail Marys, with just over 3 minutes left to play.
35 points, 3 minutes, 20 seconds. We've got a timeout. Looks like an official timeout has been called. And while we've got a moment here, we'd like to remind you, the action doesn't end here at the end of this bout. We're going to have a full bout after this. The action doesn't even end after the second bout. We're going to take our little party 8 butts over to the Jackalope, the official after-party location of the Texas Roller Girls. Should swing on by, visit your favorite official or roller girl, buy them a delicious Lone Star, and have a wonderful time well after this bout is over. The official timeout usually used for clarification of point scoring or penalty calls. That was some crazy action there at the end of that bout. We had a star pass in the middle of it. We had a call off that wasn't a call off. It was been some pretty good derby action, all encapsulated in that single jam.
Yes, there are 2 different types of timeouts in roller derby. There's a team timeout where the team calls it themselves. There's also the official timeout where the officials have a minute to discuss what happened up there. And as you said, Hard Drive, there was plenty to discuss in that last jam. So they're taking a minute to make sure that they've got everything correct before we head on to the last 3 minutes and 18 seconds of this game.
And speaking of jams, have you all picked a favorite team? I see a lot of people in pink, but who is in black and red? Who likes the Hail Marys? I think we need to cheer for them. If I say Hail Marys, please say hell yes. Hail Mary.
Hell no.
Hail Mary. Hell yes. Hail Mary. Hell yes. Hail Mary. Hell yes.
Okay, Hot Rod Honeys, we gotta hear you too. Faster, faster. Faster, faster. There you go.
That first whistle is just to let everyone know that we're going to start soon, just to reconvene.
Sometimes I get excited for the whistle too. Peace War now off the line, takes a big hit from 1693. Legal Knievel with a big hit on Peace War, but does not stop Bloody Mary from coming out quick. Lead jam for the Hot Rod Honeys, putting him in the driver's seat for the last 3 minutes of this bout.
Bloody Mary gets down. She calls that one quickly, picking up 2 points before Eastmore is able to score. So that's going to be another 2 points for the Hotrod Honeys, extending their lead and cutting down the amount of time that the Hail Marys have to come back in this game.
That's right, a 2-0 jam isn't anything to write home about, but more importantly, it's clock management by the Hotrod Honeys. The 30 seconds between every jam starting to add up. Only 2.5 minutes left to make up a 37-point deficit by the Hail Marys. Centerfold's going to try to do that right now.
And Centerfold went up against Costa Boss, hoping to try to take the outside there. Both are still held up. Centerfold has to get by Olivia Shooting John and Action Jackson up front, and they're taking the turns, taking hits on her. Stoner joins in, but they're taking out too far. Centerfold is your lead jam. Costa Boss spins around the outside of Notorious D.I.E. It has contend with Smarty Pants. Meanwhile, Centerfold is on her scoring pass through. Costa Boss taken down by Smarty Pants, but she does get out. That was her initial pass. Meanwhile, we're going to see it again. That's another star pass. And it's going to be Smarty Pants who takes it on. Meanwhile, a direction of gameplay is being assessed by Ton Slandredy. Costa Boss does get through. She's going to pick up 4 points on that pass. Smarty Pass has to contend with OJ. She gets by, picking up 5 points on that pass.
Costa Boss taking a nice shoulder from Notorious D.I.E. having to re-engage. But Smarty is also having a hard time making her way around Stoner, who's done some great blocking here in the second half.
Again, Olivia Shooting John hitting Smarty Pants out of bounds. Costa Boss tries to get a guard on the outside, is taken down by Notorious D.I.E. Gets around the outside of Big Money, and she gets out. 4 points on that pass for the Hotrod Honeys. Costa Boss.
The vaunted team defense of the Hotrod Honeys on full display here. Slams her D going to the penalty box for...
It's going to be 5 points there at the end for Smarty Pants. Meanwhile, we're going to have a team timeout being called by the Hail Marys.
We'd like to remind you, not only are you seeing some great derby action, but we are keeping track of what is going on out there. We're going to have a Cheese Balls Bearings MVP for this bout and the next bout as well. If you'd like to have an influence in that, you should probably be tweeting with the hashtag of TXRG. Let us know who you think is doing some great work out there.
Yes, Hail Marys need you, please, Hail Mary fans. Hail Mary! Hail Mary!
Faster, faster!
Hail Mary!
Faster, faster! Faster, faster! Pretty even there.
Well, keep your eyes on the clock because we have 17 seconds left on the period clock. But remember that the game ends on the jam clock. So 17 seconds left in the second period, but we will end on the jam clock or whenever the lead jammer calls it off. Going to be Peace War facing off against Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary takes a quick outside line. She has to contend up front with Centerfold. Sandy Ravage, she does. She is true. That is Bloody Mary. She is your lead jammer in charge of this game right now. Peace War takes a big hit and gets by Lucille Brawl. Bloody Mary comes back into the pass on a scoring pass. She gets around and by, and she calls it off. That's Bloody Mary with the unofficial end of this game. Picking up 4 more points. Our unofficial final is 237 for the Hotrod Honeys, 198 for the Hail Marys. But meanwhile, this is still unofficial. We'll wait for the official final. And there it is, folks. Your victors, the Hotrod Honeys. Give them a congratulations, shake their hand. Remember, following this game, at the end of our second game, we will be awarding an MVP from this game. That MVP will be given a gift by Cheese Balls Precision Berries. If you'd like to have a say in that, please tweet and Instagram your choices. All right, congratulations to the Hotrod Honeys. You know their favorite cheer, faster, faster, kill, kill, kill.